fucking lose.
Close. Bottom 7, 1-0.
Fuck the Cubs.
Cubs are going to lead the division the whole year, have the best record the whole year, blow it, go to the wild card and lose.
And it's going to
Tied for the best record in the
amazing.
NL, and they're going to be out in one game.
Amazing.
That's pretty legit. Go Brewers.
Brew Crew. Fuck everybody in the playoffs this year.
Yeah, so much for the Cards winning the World Series, huh?
Hey, we won the moral victory. We were the best team not to make the playoffs. It's like winning the NIT.
It's true.
Just it doesn't matter, but it matters.
Right. Well, welcome in, guys. It's BELLSKI and DMAN number 3. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it if you're here. We've got some good shit to talk about today. I guess the first thing I want to say is, did you see the Ryder Cup? Obviously, we were riding high on the Tiger Woods, the phenom, the bandwagon.
He didn't play that bad.
But he lost all 3 of his matches.
He did, but they just outplayed him. He didn't play that bad.
No, you're right. I don't know. U.S. gets slaughtered. I mean, it wasn't even close.
I don't get it.
I guess the big story, before anything, you saw the lady that got hit by the Brooks Koepka drive, and she's thinking about suing. Like, are you kidding? Apparently, I feel bad
when
for
you're
her.
doing this, playing golf, watching golf is probably not a good idea.
Right.
I mean, that ball's flying.
Yeah. I feel bad for the lady. I mean, the story is her eye exploded. Like, it exploded her eyeball. So she's going to lose the eyeball. She's going to not be able to see out of it again, but you're exactly right. It's like going to a baseball game and being on your phone the whole game and then getting hit with a foul ball and being pissed off. It's like, don't go to a game if you have no intentions of watching it. Don't go to a game if you're going to be on your phone. And especially games like hockey and baseball and golf, you got to be alert because the ball's going to be going into the stands, into the crowd at any time.
Yeah.
I mean, why are you there? There's no reason to be there. So.
There's signs everywhere saying you have to pay attention at all time.
Right.
And her argument for the lawsuit is that the officiates didn't say every tee shot. Like, okay,
this lady's gonna ruin it for golf or something and get nets put up on the side of the green or something. Like, she's just gonna,
if it hits the net, it's out of bounds.
It sucks, but at the same time, it's like you're at the golf tournament. You should be watching the players anyways, right? If you didn't know he was hitting the ball, what are you doing standing at the hole spectating?
That's our world now. It's Facebook. We got to put this on video or whatever. It
Right.
used to be. I'm gonna go out there and watch Tiger Woods sink this 30-foot putt,
right,
and watch him jump around like a freaking kid.
I was watching that this week, actually. The Tiger Woods
the
on the 16th.
Putt.
Oh, my God.
Sick.
Oh, my God. It just makes me wish I would have paid more attention.
And if you look, there's literally nobody on their phone. They're all legitimately like this.
And if you watch last week when he won his last tournament, I mean, literally, there's
everybody
behind him, but every single person, phone in the air, trying to... It's like, I get it. You want to have something to look back on, but... It's called YouTube. It's called ESPN. Like, live in the moment and then go look it up on the broadcast.
Yeah, when you're telling your story to your grandsons or grandkids or whatever, granddaughters, and you're like, "Hey, I was there. I watched it. It's on my phone."
Right. I watched it on a 4-inch phone screen. I didn't see it in person. I was recording it. It's just, it sucks. But like I said, U.S. gets dominated by Europe in the Ryder Cup, and the U.S. captains picks I think went like 2-10 or something.
Yeah.
And the European captains picks went like 9-6 or something. I mean, it was a very big discrepancy, and I guess that brings me to my point is I think the U.S. has a problem with picking the most popular golfers in this tournament because, I mean, Tiger Woods, say what you want. I know he just came off of a tournament win. He's hot. He's better than he's been in probably 8 years.
At least,
but Phil Mickelson, when's the last time Phil won? When's the last time he was... I mean, he's competitive sometimes. 1 or 2 tournaments, you'll see him up there, but, I mean, He's just popular. He's a name. He doesn't... I just don't understand
Honestly,
why...
I think he got picked because he wanted the tune-up for the Woods-Mickelson matchup for the... whatever the bet is, like near Thanksgiving, like the $10 million bet or whatever they're doing.
True. I remember that.
So I think Phil kind of weaseled his way in there, but Tiger's going to smoke him.
Right. And Tiger wasn't going to go until he won that tournament. Wasn't he a last minute captain's pick?
He could have been a captain's pick, but he won the tournament, and then he was like, all right, yeah, you're playing.
And he just, I don't know. Tiger got a bunch of captain's picks in the Ryder Cup, back when he was terrible, and just... I don't understand why he continues to make it. I understand this time, obviously, but Phil Mickelson, there's no excuse for him to be in there, get the best guys, get the young guys, the guys who have been hot lately, stuff like that. Get someone in there and make it competitive at least. You know?
At least try.
I mean, they've. I mean, I don't know the last time they won a Ryder Cup in Europe. It's been forever, but I mean, they lose every time in Europe, and I feel like they split it in the U.S. You know, just got to be more competitive. It'd be more fun to watch. I really haven't followed the Ryder Cup ever. I followed it more this last week than I have ever, I think, just with the Tiger Woods stuff going on. But who knows? Maybe the U.S. will figure it out one day. Obviously, MLB playoffs are going on as we speak. The Rockies lead the Cubs late in the game 1-0. We'll see if the Cubs can pull it out or how this one ends. I hope so.
They're done. Best
Cubs
team in the National League to... God!
Cubs won me $200 the year they won the World Series right after the Royals. There was like a pick'em thing. We all put in $20, picked a team. Got the Cubs early right around the All-Star break, and they won that shit for me. It was nice.
Hell yeah.
Very nice. But
now they suck. They're out. So
yeah.
They're going to be watching with the Cardinals.
Well, hold on. Before we get into the MLB, I guess you want to gloat a little bit. Fantasy football.
No longer 0-3.
He's no longer 0-3. I am also now 1-3.
Because I beat him.
Yeah.
Heads up matchup. My team takes it down. We each had he had like 5 people going on the Monday night game, and I was up like 100 points.
And I ended up losing by 7.
Ended up losing by like 7 because Demaryius Thomas did just enough to get me the win.
Yeah. He had Demaryius Thomas. I had Emmanuel Sanders. Then obviously I had half the Chiefs offense. We already talked about.
No, you had 4/5 of it.
Yeah. But yeah, I ended up coming back and just not quite enough.
Fell just short.
Yeah. But I guess he brought it up to me just now before we started. I guess I have the most points scored in the league.
By 1.
By 1 point. But still, I have the most points scored in the league, and I'm 1-3.
You're in 7th of 8th place.
Yes,
or 6th of 8th place.
Such bullshit, man. Because it's not like my fantasy team can play defense. It's just whoever, every time I go up against fucking Michael Thomas or something, he's playing against me. Oh, there's 3 touchdowns and 200 yards or something. Like, and they just drop 50 points.
I mean, that's been my story this year, too. Like, I've had one bad game. It was the very first week, and all the rest of them I've scored 150 plus and lost by less than 10 points. So it's just like, I'm just
shit in an 8-team league because I'm not that good at fantasy anyways, but I feel like I look at my team and it's like, you've already made trades to make your team better, and I just sit here and I'm like,
how can I make this team better?
Every player I've got is so good. Like, I've got guys on my bench who would be starting in any 12-team league. Like, my whole bench would all be starting in a 12-team league, and I'm just like, I don't know who to trade to make my team better. I don't know. And the flashlight.
Oh, no.
Jesus. All right, where did I go? Yeah, I just don't even know what to do to make my team better. Everybody's good, and every other team is good, and I'm going to ride it out. Next year, I know we're adding a couple teams. We're going to do a live draft and shit, so that should be fun. So
yeah, we're going to try to make it a little bit more competitive, get the weasels out. I mean, I've been running this league since early high school. Just made it fun, like family, friends. Now I'm playing in a lot more leagues and competitive. I won 2 championships last year. I just won fantasy baseball this year.
I think we're throwing some cash on the line next year.
We're going to throw some cash on it.
Congrats, by the way, on your fantasy baseball win. How much did you just win?
I don't know.
A lot. He won quite a bit.
I won a decent amount of money on that fantasy baseball league. I won the league by 7 full points in a Roto Standings league.
Wow. And
that is blowing it away.
Wow. Well, I've never played fantasy baseball. I can't even play fantasy
football.
Honestly,
this is the 3rd year I've done it, and actually, well, yeah, it's my 3rd year doing it. It's only my 2nd year in this league. I hadn't played fantasy baseball since middle school. I played it 1 year in middle school with a 4-team league, and it was literally just to go do something. And I played it last year, and I didn't have it too hot of a year. Played it this year, and ended up running away with it.
Well,
got some moolah. Going to Vegas with it.
On the way. Anyways, back to baseball. Like we said, we've got a wild card game going on right now, but it was a pretty wild end of the season. We'll get into that, but first, I assume you told me about this, the ad that MLB ran today or yesterday in the playoffs.
It's pretty cool. Is there? Let's play October baseball, and it was King Griffey Jr. talking about how everybody likes to showboat in October. I mean, we all remember the Jose Bautista stand there and look at it. And
as much as I hated him, that was such a cool moment.
That was such a cool moment. I mean, and then, Yasiel Puig always does it when he makes one good play a year. It's just kind of cool.
You go look up the ad if you haven't seen it yet. Just look up like Ken Griffey October MLB or something like that. You'll find it pretty quick. But basically what it's doing is just bashing the unwritten rules.
Yeah.
And of course, if you don't know what we're talking about like
don't show up the pitcher.
Right. Don't flip your bat. Don't walk the bases. Don't take forever to get home.
Respect the game. Respect the people who
exactly.
play it. And Griffey is basically coming out saying, do what you want.
Exactly.
But
and I think we've seen that more and more over the last few years. I know the Royals in 2014, 2015, I think were definitely a team that were, I don't want to say the first, but they were early on board with that. They had fun. You got Gerard Dyson, you got the Antlers, everything that they're doing on base. And it pissed a lot of other teams off.
They were definitely the first one to be like on the line.
Yeah,
I didn't really see them cross it too many times.
Yeah.
But, I mean,
but
the
they were
did
close
were pretty
enough
well
to
deserved.
it that they pissed some other teams off.
Yeah.
I know Yordano Ventura had an attitude and had not even an anger. He was just a fiery guy, and sometimes he let that get the best of him on the mound. But the team as a whole just had a lot of fun, and it ended up. I mean, I know with the A's we got in some fights. We got in some fights with the White Sox.
Yeah,
I mean, there were some heated moments.
But see, there's unwritten rules that I don't ever want to see go. Like you hit the pitcher. Next time your pitcher comes up, is gonna get hit. Whoever hits for him, if they decide to do that, he's gonna get hit. Like I'm perfectly fine with that. I do tend to agree with the video though, saying like, you know what, I just hit a 3-run homer in the top of the ninth to take the lead off your closer.
Right.
I'm gonna have some fun with this. I might do a little bat flip, stare at it a little bit.
Exactly.
And honestly, I think before even the Royals did it, like it didn't really happen all too much in the early 2000s, but the one that stands out to me is because I just remember it was the 05 playoffs when Pujols hit that homer off Brad Lidge. He hit it in Houston, Minute Maid, and he hit it over the train tracks.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, and
I
remember Andy Pettit just sitting there looking at it like, oh my God, that ball is not landing anytime soon. And he didn't like do it out there like, what Puig would do or the Bautista bat flip, but I mean, he stared at it for a little bit and
but can you
stuff
blame
like
him?
that?
Everybody in the stadium probably stared at that. Jesus.
They were trying to find the ball. Like he crushed it. I mean, I'm perfectly okay with stuff like that. Now,
I'm 100% behind it. Like you said, I mean, I think the MLB. We were talking about the three major sports being the MLB, the NBA, and the NFL. Those are the three most popular sports by far. It's definitely down a tier before you get to the NHL, and then down another tier before you get to the MLS. Those two are irrelevant. When it comes to the three major sports, I think the MLB is and has been for a long time. Slowly fading away, and it's been, the least popular. I know there's issues with the pace of play that they've been working on, but I think the biggest thing, I'm fine with it. I mean, if you're a baseball fan, you're going to watch it. I think the problem is they're not advertising themselves. They're not advertising their best players in a way that is going to make you want to watch.
Well, it starts at the younger age. You go see these guys in the NFL and basketball. They're playing the fast-paced game. Now, I mean, I understand football is really short plays, but you're always in it. If you're playing defense in baseball, you're just standing there until balls hit your way.
Right.
I mean, there's always stuff you can go do, but it's like, well, that ball's hit the right field. I'm the left fielder.
Right.
I guess
you throw a pitch, and then there's like 30, 45 seconds, slower-paced pitchers. There's even a minute.
I get that, but it's like...
I mean, that's just part of the game. I think that's something that's inevitable, but I think... Whenever we're talking about the home runs, the celebrations for making big defensive plays, like advertise that, encourage that. That's what you need to see. I mean, NFL, the Chiefs last night, for example, gave up like 18 yards per carry, but every time we stop them at the line of scrimmage, they're getting up. We're down 10 points. We get a stop at the line of scrimmage, and they're getting up. They're pumped up. Or, in the NFL, for example, a safety. Like, the quarterback could overthrow the ball. The receiver's not even able to catch it, and the safety's sitting there like, let's go! Like, bro, you didn't even do anything. But it pumps you up. I mean, you sit there and it's exciting. It makes the game more exciting. Just do something. Make the game more appealing to young people.
It just starts at a younger age. I mean, real young. You got to get... If you're going to have a son or a daughter that's a baseball fan, you got to start them young because they need to learn the game. And football and basketball, I don't feel like take as long to learn the game because they are so much faster paced.
Right.
Basketball, you're literally running back and forth. It's soccer with dribbling and shooting in a different way. Shorter, faster, big, huge guys. Football, there's 11 people out there. Yeah. Baseball, you got 9 spread hella apart. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, I don't know. I think baseball will always be there. I don't think baseball's ever going to go away.
No.
But, there's things they can do to make it more appealing and to make it a more popular sport for young people. And hopefully they do. I mean, this is a good step. This is something I don't know that we ever would have seen in baseball 5 years ago. Yeah, 5 years ago, you would never even see anything remotely like this. I mean, baseball's always going to be a sport for a different type of fan. It's going to be for the purists. It's going to be for the people who love stats. I mean, you see now, on top of the batting average, the on-base percentage,
WAR,
the ERA, all that. Right,
yeah.
now you've got these advanced, the sabermetrics, the WAR, the everything like that makes it, that's a whole different group of fans.
It's a numbers game.
That's a group of fans
who's
going to watch baseball no matter what. But you can make it more appealing to the casual fan. I mean, the NFL's got people who don't watch any other sports, who couldn't name 3 players on a team, who will still sit down and watch football or still go to a bar and watch football with their friends, because the NFL is just that popular. And I guess speaking of the NFL now, the NFL, I think, of the 3 is the most popular at this moment, but it seems like it's kind of peaked lately. I mean, the ratings have been in a decline the last few years. Not majorly, a little bit, and obviously you've got the cable cutting, you've got the new streaming, all the new kinds of ways to watch football, so there's going to be a decline. But you've also got a lot of issues with the league. I know the anthem protests were a huge thing last year. A debate happened to get it.
It's too violent.
Right, CTE, yeah. And obviously they're taking steps to prevent it. I don't think they're the right steps, because you can't even touch the quarterback now.
Yeah. Well, that's also
but they're
another
trying.
thing is the rules, like...
Right,
I get it. You got to protect your money, guys. And the quarterback, I remember watching The Blind Side. The quarterback is your house.
Right.
But after you buy the house, what's the first thing you do to it? You insure it.
Right.
You want to make sure that house is going to be there. So, yeah, obviously the quarterback is the most important position on the field. He's going to touch the ball every play, whether it's handing off, whether it's play action, whether he's throwing, doesn't matter. But I get protecting him. Don't make him go get a mattress and a pillow and a blanket to lay him down.
Exactly. Right.
Come on.
Yeah, but it's just the NFL. It seems like they've always been popular, and it seems like nothing can really derail the NFL. But there are so many factors in the last few years. We already talked about the anthem protest, the violence of the game. You've got all the new stuff coming out about CTE. On top of that, you've got players that are getting arrested for sexual assault, for domestic violence, for drug possession. I know a lot of that's marijuana. That's irrelevant. That shouldn't matter. But, the refereeing is awful. I know there was a controversial play in the Chiefs game yesterday.
There was yesterday. With the
that's what I mean. Yeah. But obviously the Baker Mayfield sack this weekend. Did you see that one?
No, I didn't.
Baker Mayfield got pushed. You'll have to watch the replay of this. He didn't go down at all. He got pushed by not Khalil Mack, but their other defensive end, and they called a flag on it.
No.
Yeah, he didn't go down. He got pushed. He didn't get wrapped up. He didn't. It was the weakest call. Yeah, on top of the terrible spot and the missed holding call on the Raiders and everything else that screwed the Browns yesterday.
And that's what we're gonna get into with the NBA. Is the NBA? You kind of don't have those little knick-knack, tappy bullshit fouls. You're gonna get hit.
Right.
You get some. I hate the flops, but you know it.
But but that's such a smaller issue, and I think so many people are okay with that. It's become. Hell, that's James Harden's game now. Get to the free throw line.
LeBron and James Harden, I'm gonna go to the line 15 times.
Right.
That's almost 15 free points unless you airball it.
Right. But basically, what I was saying before this is I think the NBA has been growing more and more popular, and the NBA is in a position, I think, to overtake the NFL in popularity. I think,
within a few years, I can see it
because of the
talent.
The talent and just your fan group. I think that. A lot of young NFL fans with the anthem shit. I think the NBA is a lot more progressive on that. I know they've got their rule that you have to stand, you have to be on the court and everything, but as far as all the other social issues go, Adam Silver's been amazing at coming out and speaking on these social issues.
Well, even David Stern before.
Right, that's very true. The NBA is so progressive, and I think in 2018, that's something that you really need. And I think the NFL, unfortunately, the NFL has so many more conservative fans, some older fans and stuff that are all about
it's Goodell,
the good old boys, right? When Goodell's a terrible commish, he's got
to go.
Right. Adam Silver's an amazing commish, and I think that's why the NBA is right up there now as far as popularity, and it's ready to surpass the NFL. And I think a lot of people that might be watching this in Kansas City, a lot of our friends may not think that because Kansas City doesn't have a team. I understand, a lot of people aren't going to watch. I think a lot of sports fans do have their team. They do watch the NBA. But, it's definitely up there. And my only thing with the NBA, the only thing I think may be an issue is not that it's
How
not
stacked
competitive,
it
but
is.
it's just, yeah. I mean, every year, even before the Warriors dynasty, even before LeBron was going to the finals every year, it feels like there's 3 teams maybe in each conference that have a chance.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's the same. I would say 20 teams every year have 0 chance to make the finals. I mean, you've got your Minnesotas, your Portlands, your
Sixers.
Utah, your Philly. I mean, Philly
is better
they're
now.
closest. They're closest now than they've been since AI. But yeah,
17
I mean,
years ago.
right. You know, it just feels like, you know, Boston, LA,
Cleveland.
whatever team LeBron's on, you know,
Warriors,
San Antonio, and now the Warriors.
yeah.
You know, those are your teams. And if you know if one of those teams doesn't win the championship, it's because everybody in the league got hurt. You know, it's just. And I don't know. I don't think it matters because I think a lot of people still watch it. They watch Steph Curry, and there's a lot of bandwagon fans, especially around here. When you don't have a team, you can root for whoever you
definitely
want.
going to be a lot more bandwagon fans in the NBA than I think the NFL, just because there's less guys on the court.
When I think the NBA, something about the NBA is I think a lot of people root for players too. And I think that's a huge growing trend. Obviously, LeBron James, example A. I mean, you know how many people are Lakers fans now because LeBron went to... And I get it. I mean, LeBron James turned the Lakers from not in the playoffs to, what do you think? I bet top 3 seed in the West? Top 4. I bet you they're top 4. They're not going to... I mean, yeah, I think
they're not going to overpass the Warriors. I don't think they beat the Rockets.
Right.
The only other one might be San Antonio. So they could definitely be in the 3 seed, but it's going to...
Right.
You never know.
Yeah. But, I don't know. We'll see. NBA...
The NBA is going to take it over here in the next 5 years.
For sure.
I just don't see any way around it, especially because Goodell just signed an extension, and he's going to ruin football.
Yeah, unfortunately. The MLB started all this conversation. Bottom 8, is that bottom 8? Yep. Cubs still trail 1-0, bottom 8, bases empty. The Rockies are looking to pull the upset. I didn't see it happening. Obviously, the Rockies were on the road yesterday in the tiebreaker. They had to travel from LA to Chicago in one day to play this game. I figured the Cubs, even though they lost the tiebreaker, I figured the Cubs were going to roll them just because they were going to get to be at home. They were at home in their first game, too, against the Brewers.
Yeah.
Damn, they're really going to lose. They're about to lose 2 home games in a row and be swept out of the playoffs after having the best record in the MLB until...
NL.
2 games. Sorry. Best record in the NL until, 2 games ago when the Brewers tied them?
Yep.
That's incredible. And that's just, I mean, that's one thing that makes baseball exciting, man. You got to win.
And see, that's the one thing that baseball will always have, I think, over all the other sports is the playoffs.
Right.
Like, the playoffs into the World Series is way more exciting to me, in my opinion, over the NFL and basketball. Because basketball, you're getting 7 games. Football, yeah, you get 1, but... a lot more goes into it. Baseball, it's especially the wild card games. Like literally, you are not out of it till the bottom of the 9th.
Right.
Like, and
you
the
can't
Royals proved that in 2014 when they beat when they beat Oakland. Like if you got a minute 40 left in the NFL, and the other team's got no timeouts, you just take 3 knees, and guess what? Even if there's a 4th and like you got 10 seconds left, you just run a play and literally run backwards.
Right. I mean, the Royals' prime example is the Astros game in ALDS. You're down 6-2, bottom 8. Well, that was the wild card. I was talking 2015.
Oh, okay.
The ALDS, you're down 2-1 in the series. You go down 6-2 in the 8th inning. You know,
I remember
that's the equivalent of, I would say, the Broncos being up 23-13 with 8 minutes to go. You know, like the Broncos, if. You know, obviously it didn't happen, but when you're up 10 in the 4th, you can run the ball. You can milk the clock as much as you can. In baseball, you got to pitch to them. You know,
you got 3 outs.
Yeah, you could be up 11 runs in the 9th inning, but you got to get 3 outs. It doesn't matter. You can't sit there and just groove pitches because they're going to get back in the game. And I don't know. That's just what's cool about the MLB, and that's what makes the playoffs so exciting. I mean, I watch Royals games during the season. I find it extremely hard to watch other games. You know, I can't unless it's like Sunday Night Baseball or if I'm at a bar or something, but I'm not going to sit at home and watch the Dodgers and the Rockies on Sunday Night Baseball in a regular season game. It's just not that appealing to me. But playoffs, every single playoff game, every pitch is so important. Every at-bat is so important. And
every pitch
the whole feel of the game.
The whole game.
Right. The whole feel of the game is so much different, and it's so much more exciting, and that's what's amazing about the playoffs. So if you're one of those people who doesn't watch the MLB, tune into some games this playoffs. Even if your team's not in it, it's so exciting, man. It's really great to watch. So Obviously, it's looking like Rockies and Milwaukee, and then you got the Dodgers and the Braves. I'm still going with my Brewers to the World Series, and they made it a hell of a lot easier for themselves now because they've got home field advantage instead of going through a wild card. And I didn't really see that happening. I thought the Cubs had it, you know.
I did too.
In the AL, you've got the wild card winner tomorrow, and honestly, I think Oakland has just as good a chance as New York to win that game. Oakland is a pretty good team.
But
I
you
think
got
New York
Severino coming.
Well, yeah, Severino, and just the Yankees lineup so stacked. It's so stacked. Is Judge back? He's back in the lineup, right?
He's been back for about a month. He's squaring up the ball. No homers that I have seen, but he's hitting the ball hard. He hit a 109-mile-an-hour fastball right back at the pitcher, and the dude caught it.
Oh, I saw that.
Jake
I did see
Faria.
that. Yep.
That was a hell of a play. Like that dude didn't even blink. He literally said, "Don't kill me," and threw his glove up somewhere and caught it. And then Stanton's home run that the guy threw back and hit him. That was funny.
That was hilarious.
That was pretty good. But the Yankees lineup and the pitching staff that they actually have is pretty unreal. Like 1 through 8. Actually, it might be 1 through 9 now that Gregorius is back. But they all had 25-plus home runs.
Well, it's like I said, and I'm sticking with it. The Yankees are my AL pick. I have Brewers-Yankees in the World Series, and yeah, it's just hard to stop that. And the winner of that obviously plays the Red Sox, and I just think the Red Sox.
The Red Sox have to beat who? Cleveland or no? Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, the Red Sox play the winner of that wild card game. And the biggest test is going to be the Astros. I know the Astros didn't have the best record, but they still won 100 games, and I think they're still the most complete team in the playoffs. They've got a better bullpen than they did a year ago.
Yeah, best pitching staff.
Right, best pitching staff. And, I mean, you've got Altuve, you've got Bregman, you've got Springer, you've got Correa. God damn, like how they didn't win 120 games.
Whenever you throw this top 3, they're going to have, what, a 5-game series? Mm-hmm. And then a 7-game, right?
Yeah.
So your first 3 is Verlander, Garrett Cole, Dallas Keuchel. That's unbelievable. And then when you got Game 4 coming, you got Charlie Morton. Got 160.
And then you're right back to.
And then you're right back to Verlander again. It's like, man, that's brutal.
Yeah. So I mean, the Astros. If it's not the Yankees, I think it's definitely the Astros. I don't know. I just think the Red Sox are gonna get upset.
They're good, but they have weak links in that lineup, and they definitely only have 2 good starters, in my opinion, like pitching-wise. Their bullpen's pretty locked down with Kimbrel, but, I mean, you got Sale, Price, then whoever else can throw the ball.
Price is notorious for
and he's never been good.
Some sketchy playoff starts.
And I don't think Sale's ever been in the playoffs.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's going to be interesting.
He plays for the White Sox, so let's, I mean...
Yeah, we'll Astros are definitely a team to look forward to, but I'm sticking with.
You can't forget Cleveland.
Yeah, I don't.
Cleveland's got the 2nd best pitching staff.
They do, but I don't know.
Kluber, Carrasco, and then Clevenger and Bauer.
They've got a decent lineup too. They're not bad, but
that's going to be a hell of a series. That's going the distance, and I do have to agree that I think Verlander over. I don't know, Kluber in Game 5. That's good. I don't know.
I know we said this last podcast, but. Your picks, if the Cardinals didn't make it, were what again? The Dodgers and Yankees. Okay, so we both have the Yankees. I got the Brewers. He's got the Dodgers. My Brewers are a homer pick, obviously. I think the Brewers are hot. I mean,
Moose or
right.
Kane,
I can't do it.
But they all are.
I mean, they won 8 straight, now 9 straight to win the division. I mean, they're playing hot. They're playing really well.
They have the best player in the National League this year, in Yelich.
Oh my God, yeah.
That guy's an animal. I'm really disappointed that the Cardinals didn't trade for him instead of Ozuna, but I'm not too upset because Ozuna's still good.
Right. Well, so we'll see how the MLB plays out. This game might be over. We'll have to update on the Cubs game at the end of this podcast. We'll see if they pulled it out or if something happens. But let's get into our bread and butter, the NFL.
We can talk about your Chiefs first. That's fine.
All right.
Oh, the Cubs tied it in the bottom of the eighth.
Shit! Tie game. All right, before we get off the MLB. Tie game. We'll see if they, runner on scoring position. Good.
No, not good. Podcast. Colorado. I want Colorado to win.
I know. Oh, yeah, I guess I don't know why I said good. We'll turn this podcast into just a live reaction video. We'll just be sitting here saying nothing, watching.
They got to have a basis loaded.
No. But the NFL, we both picked the Rams over the Vikings in the Thursday night game. The Rams pulled it out. Defense didn't look quite as hot as it has in the season, Kirk Cousins, right? That was a hell of a game. That was a hell of a game to watch, man. It was exciting.
That was a fantasy dream,
right? I mean, you gotta make. I mean, the Rams do have a valid excuse, obviously. Taqib Alib just went on the IR.
Taqib
out of the University of Kansas. He's on the IR. He will be eligible to come back in week 13, the week after the Rams play the Chiefs.
The Rams have had 3 home games already?
Mm-hmm.
And the other one was against the Chargers, so they've had 4 home games.
Virtually, yeah.
That is unreal.
Yeah, it must be nice, man. Chiefs did it 3 out of 4 on the road with the worst defense in the league, so...
the Rams are still a more complete team.
Sure. I mean, obviously they have no Talib. Peters is playing hurt. I know he played, but he was still not 100%. Against Cousins and the Vikings, who are one of the best teams in the NFC, despite their 1-2-1 record. But the Rams pull it off, and Goff, one of a bunch of quarterbacks this week to have a really good day, threw for 5 touchdowns. The Bengals edged the Falcons 37-36 in Atlanta. The Falcons are 1-3, and they just, I don't know.
They can't score with Julio, and it's amazing. It makes Calvin really, really good, but
he's a rookie, right?
If you can't, he's out of Alabama. So,
yeah.
I mean, he's expected to be good, and he's put up 6
Julio's
touchdowns.
out of Alabama, right?
Yeah.
Well,
but Julio,
a fucking Alabama quarterback then.
No, because McCarron's terrible.
Oh, yeah.
That was their only chance. But how do you not throw it to Julio Jones ever?
Because they can't find him in the red zone.
He's already got 500
Matt Ryan
yards
fucking
receiving.
throws it out of bounds.
He's got 506 yards receiving through 4 games.
How many touchdowns?
0.
It's amazing.
How? I could throw a touchdown to Julio Jones.
Yeah.
What is going on?
Yeah. Well, the Bengals are 3-1, and they've got control of that division. And like I've been saying, they're just going to lose in the playoffs again. And
they won't make it. They'll blow it week 9. They'll go 1-6.
I mean, the Steelers, they won, right? Or did they have a bye?
They won. No, they lost.
Oh,
Sorry.
yeah, they did. They lost.
Baltimore.
26-14. So they're 1-2-1. I guess the Ravens are 3-1, so we'll see. When do they play next? Are they this week or something? That'll be
interesting. I don't know.
Right. I mean, the Steelers are definitely still.
They're going to get Le'Veon
division,
Bell.
right? They're going to get Le'Veon Bell back. They can't be that bad all season. I know that, but Ravens and Bengals have control of the AFC North. The Buccaneers decided to stick with Ryan Fitzpatrick for the Bears game, and that lasted about a quarter and a half.
But Trubisky played out of his freaking mind.
5 touchdowns to 5 different receivers in the first half, 6 total. That's there it is. That's Trubisky's coming out party right there. I mean,
hopefully, because
it's taken him longer than some other quarterbacks. He's had some struggles.
Can keep Trubisky playing hot, they will run away with the North.
I mean, the Bears' offense was garbage their first 3 games. They were terrible.
I mean,
and if the offense can play even 75% of what they did against the Buccaneers, and the Buccaneers aren't the best team in the league. I think their 2 wins were kind of a fluke with the whole Fitzpatrick shit.
Yeah, they just rode the roller coaster high, and they got big, huge fucking plays when they did. And that's what beat them.
That's a hell of a stat line by Trubisky. That's a hell of a performance from the whole Bears offense. And with the Packers losing as well to the Redskins last week, I guess they won against the Bills, but it's the fucking Bills, right? I don't know. The Bears are definitely a contender.
I think
not only for the playoffs, but for that division. I think with
they won the game in the first half. It was 38-3 in the first half. The game was done. If the Bears can literally put up 24-28
with that defense,
right, they're gonna win.
Right, their offense doesn't
most
have to be
of
good
their
with
games.
That defense, right?
With how they're starting, I have them finishing 11-5.
Yeah, for sure.
I think wins that division because Minnesota started off too cold to do anything. They've tied with the Packers, and Aaron Rodgers is still banged up.
Packers have looked nothing special this year.
They've got no running back.
Right. Packers beat the Bills 22-0. We're not even going to talk about that one. The Bills beat the Vikings last week in a very shocking result, but they're still not good.
They're not the worst.
That's true. Josh Allen didn't look good this game. He looked pretty well in the game previous, but that's all we got to say about that game. The Cowboys got in
We're not going to spend time on this one either.
Yeah, Cowboys got in the win column. Ezekiel Elliott had a nice day in a losing effort for my fantasy team. But, Lions improve. Lions fall to 1-3. They're not very good. Cowboys aren't very good either. They're not a threat. Eagles lose to the Titans, and I didn't see really any of this game. I was at work all day, and I unfortunately have to work Sundays, and I miss a lot of the NFL Live, so I didn't even see the score until the end. I mean,
it was 17-10 going in. Yeah, it was 17-10 going into the fourth quarter. Honestly, the Eagles' offense didn't look that bad. Alshon Jeffrey had a monster game back. Wentz looked really good. He threw for 350 and 2 touchdowns, which is good. I'll take that every week. The run game was struggling. They couldn't stop Mariota for some reason when it mattered. Mariota overall didn't really do much, but Corey Davis had 9 catches for 160 yards and a touchdown in overtime to win it.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really good game. Like, Eagles aren't very good on the road as of right now. They're still getting healthy. They're still going to win the NFC East by a long shot, in my opinion.
Okay, so it looks like... Okay, so the Eagles kicked a field goal in overtime to go ahead, and then the Titans scored a touchdown. Okay.
And there was only 2 drives. It was the Eagles had the ball, and the Titans got it back with like 4 minutes left and drove the whole field and scored the touchdown with 9 seconds on the clock.
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously as an Eagles fan, there's no reason to worry yet. Wentz is still getting back into it. It's a very long season. I don't think the Eagles have any competition in the NFC East. Honestly, the Redskins might be their biggest competition just because Alex Smith is going to win them regular season games. I mean, I think when it comes to head-to-head, the Eagles are going to win both games. I mean, as far as records go in the regular season, I think that the Redskins are going to probably finish second. The Redskins aren't a threat. I don't think they'll even make the playoffs, but the Eagles defense needs to figure it out. They went from the top 2 defense last year, in my opinion, in the NFC behind Minnesota. Minnesota played out of their minds last year, but they can't stop anybody. The Vikings can't stop anybody, and the Eagles haven't stopped anybody this year. I mean, we stopped the Falcons. The Eagles could easily be 0-4 right now. That's true.
And that's kind of scary. Like,
figure it out. It's like you say, though. I mean, the NFL, there's a lot of games that can go either way, and there's, the Eagles could probably...
They could be 4-0 just as easy.
Right. I mean, they very easily could have won this game against Tennessee.
Honestly, being 2-2 right now...
And their other loss was against, the Bucs? I mean... Yeah, the Bucs was kind of
a fluke, but it happens.
Right. I think the Eagles don't have a whole lot to worry about in their division. I think they've got 12 games now to get right, and they're going to be a contender if they make the playoffs. They've got they've got the pieces, they've got the coaching. Get to the playoffs, and then they can do what they need to do. Especially if they win their division, they'll get a home game. Even if they fucking go 9-7, win the East and you get a home game. That's all you need. The Texans beat the Colts 37-34 to get in the win column. This one almost ended in a tie, too. The Texans kicked that field goal as time expired in overtime. And the only reason they really got it was because the Colts went for fucking 4th down, went for it deep in their own territory, I guess just because they didn't want to end up in a tie. But it's like, you're already 1-2. Why would you not go for the tie? I mean, if you punt the ball...
Because it was a division game.
I mean, I get it, but you literally gave them the game. Yeah, it's like the Broncos-Chiefs, remember a couple years ago whenever Santos... bank shot at the field goal in. I mean, they kicked it from fucking 59 yards out with a minute to go, and the Chiefs still had a timeout. It's like, if you miss that field goal, the Chiefs, all but half the game won. I mean, we needed one completion. It's just, I don't know. I mean, because I guess they're both 1-3 right now. If you tie it, you're going to still be ahead of the Texans in the standings, which it doesn't put you at the top of the standings. You still have to deal with Jacksonville in that division, but at least you're... you're a half a game better than what you are now. I don't understand the call. I understand there's been so many ties. Right. The Titans are 3-1 too. And
so
they're
in 4th place now. So they could have been in 3rd, they're in 4th.
Right. Tied. Yeah, they're tied now. And neither of those teams look really good this year. And that's about it.
Patriots to blow out the Dolphins.
Right. Dolphins got a little confidence, thinking they're 3-0, going to go in there. And the Patriots
reminded
Tom
Brady
everybody
said,
that,
wait.
Right, hey, can we calm the hell down with the whole Patriots are done thing? That's what I said last week. Patriots are going to be in it until the very end. They're going to be in until Tom Brady retires. That's just how it's going to be. 38-7. It was never close. It was never in doubt.
It was the first drive, damn it.
It's true.
Jaguars beat the Jets. Nothing really there. Bortles actually played okay. That's why they won.
Darnold looks terrible. I mean, he doesn't have a good team around him, so it's not like he's doesn't have an excuse. But I think Todd Bowles is not a good coach either. I think their coaching staff's not good. But Darnold has not looked very good since that Week 1 blowout against Detroit. And who knows? I mean, the Jets were never going to be a good team this year. It's just going to be a year of growth. Get him some experience and, build your team, draft,
Robbie
sign free
Anderson
agents for next year.
So bad.
Yeah.
That guy has like 8 catches on the year, but like 3 fumbles. It's just how. That guy...
the Jets look more like they were supposed to last year now. Remember, last year everyone was saying the Jets were going to go 0-16. They ended up going 5-11. I mean, who was it? The old guy. Not Fitzpatrick, but McCarron. I think it was McCarron, right? There was some quarterback who wasn't expected to do shit, and he came out there, and the Jets, they ended up, didn't they go 2-0 or 3-2? They had a good record after 5 games, and everyone was like, holy shit, where'd this come from,
Fitzpatrick was their starter.
Was he?
Yeah.
Last year?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So what's Fitzpatrick? I don't know. I mean, Fitzpatrick's always been kind of decent wherever he goes until he's the starter. Like Buffalo,
name the starter.
Yeah. But yeah, Jets fall to 1-3. Jaguars are 3-1. They're tied with the Titans, but the Titans do have that tiebreaker with the win last week. That just shows you, obviously, Chiefs play the Jaguars this next week. It just shows you how inconsistent that offense is. Like, Bortles goes and throws 4 touchdowns against New England, wins in the game. Next week, they go out and score no touchdowns, lose to Tennessee 9-6. Now they go out here against the Jets and win 31-12.
Well, now they're due to have a 9-point game, and the Chiefs will blow them away.
That's what I like to hear. But, obviously, the Chiefs' defense is probably
Bortles-esque.
I mean, bad if not worse than the Jets, which is, I mean, the Jets are not a good team, but Chiefs' defense is probably right around the same, and luckily their offense is good. We'll just see. We'll talk about the Chiefs here in a little bit, but the Raiders beat the Browns in a shootout. Some controversial calls in that one regarding a spot on a first down late in the game, a missed penalty. I don't know. I think the league tried to fucking get the Raiders to win because they didn't want to see them 0-4, and it really sucks because I think the Browns should have won that game. But it's also, like I said earlier, I think the Browns just don't know how to win games yet. They're a young team. I mean, they just kind of find ways to lose games.
I think it comes down to more coaching than it does players. Like, Mayfield had a decent game. Duke Johnson finally showed up to play a little bit. I mean, obviously you got Nick Chubb, who balled. He had 3 carries for like 106 yards and a touchdown.
Right.
I mean, but it's the Browns.
Yeah. Seahawks 20-17 over the Cardinals in a snoozer. The Seahawks are 2-2, but I don't think they're very good. The Cardinals are 0-4. Josh Rosen started that game. I'm sure he didn't do too hot. The Cardinals are just a bad team, and why they ever thought that they were going to be remotely competitive with Sam Bradford, I don't know. Sam Bradford's a joke, and he's always been a joke since his rookie year. I mean, he took a fucking 7-9 Rams team to the playoffs. Like, that was his best moment of his career, was his rookie season. Takes the Rams in St. Louis to 7-9 and they make the playoffs. I mean, he's done nothing. He's done nothing, and all he does is get hurt, and he's whiny, and I hate Sam Bradford. But yeah, Cardinals are 0-4.
Saints beat the Giants bad. That's fine. Just leave it at that. Kamara out of his mind. Breeze Thomas not very good. Kamara did all the work. Chargers beat the 49ers at home.
It was a close game. I mean, the Niners were still competitive with C.J. Beathard in there. Obviously, it really sucks that they lost Garoppolo. Did he really?
Beathard got hurt.
I mean, I don't think it's bad, though, right? I saw something about that, but I don't think he's going to miss time, is he?
I don't know if he'll play this week.
So who's their third stringer?
That's a good question. I don't know if they have one. They came out and said that they weren't going to go sign a big-name quarterback or even just, a really good fill-in.
Hey, Jay Cutler's available.
Well, Jay Cutler's out there. You got... you can go get somebody. You can go get a...
Tony Romo said he's as healthy as he's ever been.
Yeah, fuck off.
He ain't leaving the booth.
He's making too much money sitting there in a chair.
I mean, at this point, you're 1-3 as it is. You don't have your starting quarterback. I mean, I think it's probably a lost season by now for the Niners. You hate to say that 4 weeks in, you can't just give up. But, I mean, if you lost your starter and now you lost Beathard, it's just, it's not looking good for the Niners. Chargers improved to 2-2, but they very easily could have lost. Chargers were supposed to be like the second best team in the AFC this year, and they've been wildly disappointing. The Ravens beat the Steelers. We already talked about that one a little bit. Steelers fall to 2-1, and I still think
they're the team to beat.
I don't know. I don't think so, man. Their defense is so bad, and I think things are so dysfunctional. I still think Tomlin's getting fired before that's over. If not, at the end of the year. If they don't make the playoffs, I think Tomlin's gone. I mean, Bell's going to be gone.
Brown will be gone because he won't want to play with that team without Big Ben.
Right. Once Big Ben's gone, it's just time to blow it up for the Steelers. But I think there's major changes coming there, and they're just not looking too good.
We can talk about the Chiefs.
And now, in a Monday Night Classic, the Kansas City Chiefs come back and beat the Broncos 27-23. The Chiefs trailed 23-13 late in the fourth quarter. They scored 2 touchdowns. Obviously, they score the touchdown. Defense comes up big and gets the 3 and out. We go back down. We score another touchdown. Then we force a fourth down, force a turnover on downs. Or I think they ruled the pass incomplete. They tried that hook and ladder shit, but it didn't work out either way. That was a terrible attempt. I mean, I get the play call, but execution was bad.
Yeah, like you got to catch it first. Like he was already trying to flip it before he even had the ball. You got to talk about Mahomes. He didn't blow it out of the water, but he was
28 for 45, 304 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks. That's an 83.7 touchdown. Right, 83.7 QBR. 1 touchdown on the ground, and I mean, the Broncos, honestly, this was obviously their biggest test of the year on defense, but the Broncos did everything they needed to do to beat the Chiefs, and I think they executed for 3.5 quarters. They came so close. I mean, they got pressure on him. They pressed the receivers. They made sure there weren't going to be open guys. I mean, you're seeing the replay highlights right there. I mean, the Broncos had pressure on Mahomes every single play. They disguised their looks. They made him throw the ball left-handed for a first down.
That was the most amazing play I've ever
every
seen.
week with Patrick Mahomes, every single week with Patrick Mahomes, there's a holy shit throw. Last week it was the one where he scrambled
around and
hit
Conley. That was pretty amazing.
Every single week there's like a holy shit throw with Mahomes, and that was it this week.
But
I mean that one, or you've got the one where he's straddling the line of scrimmage to Travis Kelce.
Like what Big Ben did.
Same thing. That's the comparison with Brett Favre. He just feels like he's playing NFL street out there. It's like, he's not Peyton Manning. He doesn't like precision 3-step drop. Here's my guy, open, drill him. He's drop back. Oh shit, there's pressure. I'm gonna roll out. I'm looking. I'm running towards the sideline. Here's a guy who's broken off his route. He's running free up the sideline and he gets it for 25 yards on a broken play. I mean, those are the kind of things that are so cool. Those are the kind of things that make it. Are you kidding me right now? Anyways, lost my fucking train of thought.
Those are the plays that make it interesting.
I mean, those are the kind of things that make Patrick Mahomes so fun to watch, and those are the things that make him the best quarterback in the NFL right now. I mean, when you can turn a play where you're getting pressure from the moment you get the ball into a first down, when you can convert on 3rd and 30, those are the kind of things. I mean, there's never a down and distance situation where you think, oh, well, this drive's over, we have to punt. And honestly, there are very few scores where you think, oh, shit, we're going to lose. We're not coming back from this. I mean, with Alex Smith, I'll be completely honest. It's like, I feel like when I watch these Chiefs games, very early you get a sense of how it's going to go. Or if we go down 10-0 in the first, or we're down 10, 15 points in the second quarter, a lot of times you're like, this is over. We may stay in it, we may make a comeback, we may make it close, but you just have the feeling it's over. And, you start to get nervous at least. Yesterday even, the Pittsburgh game we can go back to, it was 21-0. They tied it at 21 before the half, and I just didn't feel nervous at all. Obviously, I'm pissed. There's no excuse for giving up 3 touchdowns that quick. Obviously, I know we scored 3 touchdowns like that, but when you get that lead, you can't blow it before halftime. I still just never felt nervous about the outcome of that game.
Until the last drive. Until the Broncos got the ball back, and Once they got the first down in field goal range is when I got nervous. It was 3rd down, and he gets that long completion. Great play.
But yeah, even down 10, there was a point the drive where we scored to make it 23-20.
It was the
that
if
was
we
the drive
don't
I was
score
like,
here,
we have to score this drive. That was the most nervous I got, is we have to score this drive. We do it. You get the ball back on defense. It's like, okay, we need one stop. Just one stop, defense, please. We get it. We held the Broncos to 23 points. I know Keenum's been better. The Broncos offense has been better than it was last year, but say what you want about this defense. They're giving up 452 yards a game. That is awful. That's close to an NFL record for amount of yards, but they're making stops when they need to. They're making stops at the beginning of the game. They're making stops when the game is close, and they're making stops in crunch time in the late parts of the game. And hey, you know what? Obviously,
as a Chiefs fan, you'll take it.
Exactly.
However you gotta win, you're gonna take it. And
the difference between this and the 2003 Chiefs team is that the 2003 Chiefs didn't stop anyone. Yeah. Obviously, you remember the no punt game in the playoffs. Neither team punted. They did not get off the field one time. I think this Chiefs team has what it takes. They've got enough players at least, and even if it is Bob Sutton's scheme, if you want to call it that, I don't think it is. I think his scheme's terrible, and I think a lot of the reason that we're bad is because of him and not because of our personnel.
They're making the exact amount of plays they have to win the game. And
they
like
make a play when they need
it. As a Chiefs fan, as a football fan, you're going to be perfectly fine with that.
Right. It's not even turnovers anymore. It used to be a couple years ago the Chiefs were the best team at turning people over. Obviously Marcus Peters was a huge help.
Yeah, if they weren't stopping
them, you would force fumbles, you would get picks from multiple guys. Yeah, it was a bend don't break defense, and honestly, it kind of still is. But the Chiefs come out there, and whenever they need a stop, they make a stop. And I think at the beginning of these games, obviously we gave up a field goal on the first drive of this game. We come back and counter with our own, but then we forced to punt the next drive. What would make me nervous is if teams come out here and they're scoring 3 touchdowns to start the game, and we're down 21-10 or something. That's what the Chiefs have been doing. I mean, this was our first game where we didn't score a touchdown on our first drive. We've gotten points on our first drive every play, which, I mean, you tie the game, and we ended up tied at the end of the first quarter, but the defense keeps them in the game. We haven't had a game yet, and that's not to say that we won't. I'm still extremely nervous about the Rams game later this year. I mean, that's going to be a game that...
and Jacksonville doesn't blow anybody out on offense, but Jacksonville has that stupid sneaky. They can be really good or
Bortles,
really bad.
Yeah. I mean, we're going to just see what
we'll just see what you get.
Obviously,
exactly.
with T.J. Yeldon and Leonard Fournette, if they're both healthy next week, that's another issue because you saw Denver ran through the Chiefs.
Oh my God!
They ran through the Chiefs the whole game, and I mean, they ended up with only, as a team, they had 159 yards rushing. I swear to God, in that first half, it felt like 350.
Yeah.
I mean, it just felt like every play was 15 yards. Stopped at the line, breaks the tackle. The tackling yesterday was horrendous, and that's not on Bob Sutton. That's on the players. I mean, the first touchdown they scored whenever they had him wrapped up behind the line of scrimmage, and then Anthony Hitchens grabs him, and that was the weakest tackle I've ever seen in my life. Like, every time I watch it, he literally just, hands right here, and that's it. Like, he didn't put any... But, I mean, it's a fucking running back. Let me hit him, and if nothing else, he's by the sideline. Push him out of bounds. Goddamn, you just, gave him a hug and escorted him into the end zone. You got to tackle. You got to be tough, and that's something that can't be coached. That's something you just got to get out there and do. So
the Chiefs definitely came back and earned it. I mean, when you're down 10, you got to find a way to win it somehow. You just got to find a way to get back in it. They did it. Kudos.
And Kareem Hunt, 121 yards and a touchdown.
Finally had a great game, which I think took a little bit of pressure off Mahomes.
But this is what we talked about. Well, exactly. I mean, Mahomes was uncomfortable. They had pressure on him. I mean, this was the game where it was like, how is he going to respond to pressure? And we saw it, and he did amazing. That's not to say this is going to happen every time. It's the NFL. He's going to have bad games. He really is. It gets harder and harder for me to say that because every week we say this, and every week he comes out here
about
right.
This.
Oh
yeah, he was all mad, but I'm like, dude, just come on,
that's just because he was trolling Chiefs fans.
No.
He always trolls Chiefs fans, and this one finally got to me.
No.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
No.
All right, then what was it?
It was just funny. It was just funny. If you would have had if that would have been about the Raiders, you would have died laughing.
It's true.
It was just funny. It wasn't anything nor it was like the Chiefs fans suck. No, it was just funny. There's certain Chiefs fans that I can't listen to, and there's people that's like, you know what, he's got a point. We're sitting here talking about this Chiefs-Broncos game, and like I said, I think it was last night or today, I was like, did the Chiefs earn it or did the Broncos lose it? And honestly, it's both. Keenum had Demaryius Thomas literally 15 yards, and Skandrick's where did he go? I don't know where he was, but he overthrew him.
Yeah. But I mean, that's not
if they make that play, that game's over.
That's true.
That's every quarterback. That's every game. I'm not saying it's just the Chiefs. It happened against them this time.
Right. I mean, I'm sure there's plays the Chiefs left on the field
Absolutely.
that could have either put us in the lead or given us a bigger lead.
But that's why they won, because they made those plays. Von Miller's literally like, I'm going to kill this guy, and Mahomes is like, oh wait, this hand.
Right.
Okay.
Joke's on you, bro. I'm in the
next. Yeah, and then and then he goes to the line of scrimmage play. Those were the key plays that made it, and that's why they won. But that's why I also say, Denver lost this game.
Yeah.
Because you go sign Keenum to make those plays.
Right.
You don't have Paxton Lynch or Trevor Siemian throwing the ball because they do what Keenum did last night and overthrow the receiver.
I think Case Keenum... I don't want to say Case Keenum lost the game, but I think the fact that Case Keenum is their quarterback is a big contribution to the fact that they lost the game.
Absolutely.
Patrick Mahomes won the game yesterday.
Absolutely.
I don't have the fourth quarter stats in front of me, but I mean, he had 3 incompletions in the fourth quarter. He had over 100 yards in the fourth quarter, and he had the game-winning touchdown. Or I guess Kareem Hunt had the game-winning touchdown. He had the drive.
He had the drive.
Right. I mean,
it's third and
how many times did we shoot us in the foot? Right. I mean, we had a holding call, and then we had a hands to the face or something, and it's third and 30.
The last drive of the Broncos, they're intentional grounding, which legitimately was intentional grounding. They got all mad that Kelsey was a catch, but he got thrown out of bounds. There was never even a foot close to the ground. Right. They wanted a flag or they wanted to touch. I was sitting in side pockets with Rodney, and this guy next to us was a Chiefs fan, just why are they being retarded? And the guy sitting next to me was literally you, because you would see these plays and you're like, that's clearly intentional grounding. Yes, I know Kareem Hunt was over here, but when Mahomes was getting hit, he threw the ball that way.
Right.
You can't make that argument. That is clearly intentional grounding. And then, when Keenum got sacked there and he threw the ball 50 yards short of everybody. It's like
Right.
he was
His
already
knee was
sacked.
down,
It was
right. His knee
already
was down
sacked. Like,
anyways,
so what
but-
are you complaining about? You can't. It's not like, do you want to accept this penalty and decline the sack? Like, no, that's not how it works.
Right.
But-
I think, end of the day, in my opinion, I think the Broncos definitely left plays on the field. But Patrick Mahomes won that game.
Absolutely.
And honestly, I mean, there's going to be games like this. I mean, the Chiefs had some help. We can talk about this expired play clock. I mean, the play clock was
that
at
happens
0
all the time.
Exactly. I mean,
But
it does. It
and
really
that's
does.
and that's what it is. Like,
Unfortunately,
teams
this
that
one
lose
happened on a key play of the game. It should have been caught. It would have made it 3rd and 12. To be honest, my overconfidence and my love
they
for
would have
Mahomes,
got it anyway.
Mahomes probably would have fucking found someone on 3rd and 12
Yeah.
and converted, and we probably still win the game.
I mean,
You know?
it changes a little bit, but honestly, like, if you couldn't make the stop then, what the hell's 5 yards gonna do?
Right.
Like, as long as it's not like a defensive hold where you get the first down,
Right.
who cares? Like,
Exactly.
every game, and I know it's the Broncos Chiefs, it's a rivalry. Broncos fans are like, no, we got screwed. If it would have been the other way around, Chiefs fans would be like, oh, we got screwed.
Absolutely.
It's a division game.
Absolutely, I
So,
understand. If this happened to the
absolutely.
Chiefs, I would be pissed off right now, and I'd be talking about
That
fuck
damn
these
delay
NFL
game.
refs. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
And,
But it
goes
happens, you
both
know?
ways. Let it go. The Chiefs earned it. They came back down 10 in the 4th. The Broncos blew it when they had their chance, and that's why the Chiefs win. They're undefeated. They come home this weekend to play Jacksonville. Give it to them. Let them go.
You know what? Fuck the Broncos. They used to fucking oil their jerseys up with Vaseline so the Chiefs couldn't tackle them.
They
Fuck you
couldn't
guys,
tackle
man.
anybody.
The
The
Chiefs
Raiders
could-
used to run for 300 yards a game against the Chiefs. I remember
Chiefs can't
this.
tackle anybody no matter what. But, I don't know. Chiefs Broncos is always gonna be a rivalry.
Yeah.
I mean, what is this fucking 8 straight against them now?
Yeah,
We
they've
lost. The last
dominated.
time we lost was when Jamal Charles fumbled the fucking ball. Remember? Denver just tied it up, and we had
And
the ball.
Charles got like
Charles
3
fumbled
yards.
the first
yeah.
play, and they ran it in for a touchdown, and that's
Yeah.
how we lost. That was
Yeah.
the last. That was the last time that we.
And Manning was the
lost to
quarterback.
Broncos. Yeah, Manning was the quarterback, and we should have won that game. We were up 14-0. We were in a position to have a game-winning drive.
Just literally like what the Broncos were.
Right.
This game, like
Right.
it's gonna go back and forth. Teams are gonna win it. Teams are gonna lose it. Sometimes you need a little luck to win in the NFL.
Can we talk about that though? The Chiefs are like 20-2 in their last 22 divisional games now.
Yeah, they've
Like
owned
they've
that
beaten the
division.
Chargers like 9 straight. They've beaten the Broncos like 8 straight.
and I think both their losses were against the Raiders.
Yeah. No, well, yeah, the Raiders were the one last year where we lost 31-30, where we had like 6 pass interference inside the 1 yard line. That shit pissed me off. I mean, that was.
But
Not all those were pass interference, man. Last year we had defensive holding calls on us every play, and it's like, I don't know. Well, that's last year. I don't give a
but
shit.
it goes back to the refs being soft. Like
Right.
sometimes let them play. Like clearly, if I do this and tug, throw the flag.
Well, the Chiefs had some plays like the one in the end zone where, I mean, the Broncos, Sutton almost caught it with one hand, but I mean, it was either Scandrick or Fuller. I'm going to assume it was Scandrick, but I mean, he had a hand-on jersey here, and he had his arm locked to where he couldn't get the other arm up. I mean, when your secondary's that bad, I mean, honestly,
You almost take the penalty.
right? I mean, shit, he's either
Yeah.
going to score a touchdown easily, or you at least get 4 chances to stop him from the one. Who knows? You might get a turnover. You might be able to stuff him.
Absolutely.
Right. It's hard, especially to throw the ball. It's harder to throw it at the goal line because you got to make tight windows. Only players like Patrick Mahomes can do that. All right, I'll
Yeah.
stop. But anyways,
Yeah.
Chiefs at 4 though. Next week we have the Jaguars at home. It's the second home game of the year. It should be rowdy. Honestly, I think these are the top 2 teams in the AFC. It's gonna be fun, man. The Chiefs have a hell of a schedule so far. I think they've done amazing. And next 2
To be
weeks.
4-0 going into the Jacksonville game,
I mean,
Chiefs,
after
all
these,
Chiefs
this was
fans
the,
need to be happy.
This was the awful part of our schedule. Was the first like 6 or 7 weeks. I mean, if we get out of this 5-1 or 6-0,
even.
I mean, yeah, if we lose the next 2, it would be 4-2, which I'd actually honestly be disappointed after the 4-0 start.
But
I mean,
if you're going to lose to the 2 teams, if you're going
if
to
we
lose
win,
these next 2
I would be
weeks-
happy with one of the next 2.
Absolutely.
I mean, the Patriots are obviously going to be pissed. We beat them on opening night last week in their house. It's going to be Sunday Night Football. Mahomes,
Brady,
I
that's
think
going to
we
be
beat the
sick.
Jaguars. I think we lose to the Patriots in 2 weeks, but 5-1 after that, and your only real test after is the Rams in Mexico City. I mean, after that, you still have.
But,
you have 4
but then
more
after
division
that, you've
games.
got your division games, and most of your games are at home.
Right,
Because
3
you've
of the
already
last
done
4, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we're gonna have 4 out of our first 6 on the road, right? And then we're gonna have, 4 of our
4
last.
of your last 6 at home.
Yeah,
And
so-
that's huge.
Right, going into the playoffs, that experience at Arrowhead. I mean,
Chiefs in the playoffs at home aren't traditionally good, but it's a different team.
Period, unless we play fucking Tom Savage. So,
It's a different team. It's a different look. Chiefs are 4-0. Go get it.
my
I mean, like,
favorites in the AFC still.
they
It's
gotta
changed
be
from
right
New
now.
England. They're the favorite now, I think.
We can keep on the KC train with Earl Thomas.
Yeah, so I mean that sucks. You're the one who actually sent me the story about that before I saw it. I guess the Chiefs had a deal in place to get Earl Thomas. There was going to be, I think, a second and a fourth or something.
Yeah.
And they were working on clearing the cap space to get Earl Thomas. And of course, by now we know he fractured his leg in the game.
And I have a feeling that's why he flipped him off, because I think he knew going into that game, like, look, we're moving you. Chiefs are doing what they got to do to get you, and it is what it is. Like, play this game. We're not taking you out. Like, it's football. We got to have our best people.
But at the same time, if this is something, I mean, it was a fracture, so I assume it was something. I didn't see the replay of him even getting hurt, but if it was a stress fracture or something, it could have been something that was unavoidable. It could have been something that was going to happen either way, and maybe we dodged a bullet.
Maybe.
What happens if we trade for Earl Thomas and he breaks his leg his first game with us? Then you're out 2 draft picks, and you have
to sign him if you want to keep him. And you
have to sign him, and you're not going to have him for the whole year. You just wasted 2 draft picks this year. So and obviously you saw him give him the bird. I mean, we know about the whole Marcus Peters shit, and I hate to continue to bring this up, but I mean, a big reason we got rid of Marcus Peters was because of the locker room issues and his personality. I think it became toxic, and I'm not saying Earl Thomas is the same way, but there was clearly a lot of drama around him. And that's not to say if he gets his money that he doesn't come in here and be a leader. We've seen him be a leader. We've seen him be mature and win a Super Bowl for the Seahawks.
I think why he's so mad is literally there is nobody there anymore except Earl Thomas. Like, they focused on going from the Legion of Boom to the Legion of, oh, fuck, they're scoring again.
Right.
It's like you had Sherman, you had Chancellor, you got...
Well, they put all their money into Russell Wilson, and we've heard all the stories about how, I mean, Pete Carroll lost the locker room after that call in the Super Bowl.
Oh,
I mean, they all question him, and I mean, who knows? Maybe it's time to get rid of Pete Carroll. And I know he's a great coach, and I think he's, I'm not saying that he couldn't be a good coach again somewhere else, but if you lost the locker room, at least this is what he's doing. He's clearing out all those guys. It's going to be a new era. He's got to get guys that are going to buy in again because, I mean, can you blame him? I mean, you have the ball on the 1-yard line in the Super Bowl with Marshawn Lynch as your running back, and you call fucking slant. I mean, it's just it's still inexplicable 3 or 4 years later. I don't understand it, but who knows? That really sucks though for Kansas City. At the same time, it's fine, man. Like I said, maybe it is going to work out for the best. I forgot the guy's name, if I can look it up real fast, but the Chiefs did work out a cornerback who played for the Bengals for the last few years. Let's see. Josh Shaw, cornerback out of Cincinnati. He was cut by the Bengals in the preseason after he got hurt. He had something, calf or a hamstring injury, I know it was, but he got cut in week 3 of the preseason. He played off and on over the last 4 years, and he was a decent player in the Bengals secondary. Honestly, I told you earlier, I think he's going to see significant playing time until...
Yeah, because Scandrick's done.
Kendall Fuller's decent. Steven Nelson's decent. But you got to have somebody else in there.
You just need another decent. That's
right.
Like,
so, yeah, get one person. Right.
If Eric Berry comes back and you've got 3 decent corners, you'll be fine.
Right. So hopefully that helps out. I definitely think he's going to see the field once he gets in and gets the system down. But yeah, they're working on it at least, and that's what another thing with the Earl Thomas. At least they're being proactive. I mean, I think the Chiefs know, and it's like I've said, the Chiefs know their window to win the Super Bowl is this year and next year and the year after. It's these 3 years because you've got all these guys on our rookie contracts. After that, you're not keeping this whole offense. You don't have the money. Huh?
Do you think any of those guys hold out like this?
I don't think Mahomes does, but I think Mahomes gets a fucking... As soon as they're able to structure Mahomes and extend him, they do it.
I'm talking about Kelsey. Well, he just got
Kelsey's got years left,
okay,
but
so
I mean,
like
Tyreek Hill,
and Hill. I think they almost have to because they're seeing Le'Veon Bell. He's like, you know what? I just saved myself 150 touches. I lost a little bit of money, but I'm fresh going into week 8.
Right.
Like, what?
I mean, we'll see, but you're right. Well, I don't know. I mean, Jamal Charles held out, Eric Berry held out, but everything worked out with them. I think the Chiefs know who they want to keep, and I think the Chiefs have always made sure they've been loyal to their guys, sometimes to a fault. I think sometimes they've waited way too long to sign guys. Example A and B are Eric Berry and Justin Houston. If you sign them, you can sign them. I mean, they ended up paying Justin Houston so much more money because they franchised him, and then he fucking ties an NFL sack record in his contract year. Or in his franchise year. Then you have to fucking sign him for $70-something million. Eric Berry's the same way. You franchise him, he goes out there and has a great season, and you have to sign him. And then, of course, as soon as you do that, you sign him for $15 to $20 million more total on their deal than you could have if you did it a year earlier. And now they've both been plagued by injuries ever since. So, I mean, they're not perfect, but I think with the offense, I think we've seen enough from these guys that they're worth re-signing. I think they know what their plans are going to be. If not, they're already working on it. With Brett Veach and Andy Reid, they know what they're doing. They're planning ahead. But once they have to get paid, they're going to get paid, and that's going to take away any
whether
money
it's
that
the
you
Chiefs
have.
or somebody else. Someone's paying those guys.
Right. But I mean, obviously the Chiefs are going to keep as many as they can, but you're going to have a lot of money tied up in that offense once this happens. So you've got to go out there, if not right now with a trade or with a free agent signing, you've got to go out there at the end of the year and sign a big free agent or get some draft picks or trade for a guy in the offseason. But you got to get it shored up because this is the window for the Chiefs, and they've never been more poised to win a Super Bowl, I think, in my life. Even with the worst defense in the NFL, this team, more than the 03 team, more than the 94 team. Okay, I don't want to say that. They had Joe Montana. But more than any team since I've been alive, this team is poised to win a Super Bowl, and this is the best chance. So you've got to figure it out. And that's reassuring to me, at least, the fact that they are out there actively trying to find someone to improve that defense. So Le'Veon Bell, like we already said, we won't get into this very much, but he's going to report during their bye week, which is week 7. It'll probably take him a week or so to get into it. We'll see if he plays week 8. But
he'll play week 8. He's fresh.
Do you think he's going to get traded, though? Because I think they were talking about maybe him getting traded now that the Steelers know he's going to come back and report. Who knows if the Steelers even want him back now? If I'm a Steelers fan, I think obviously he's not coming back at the end of the year. I don't think any amount of performance, anything is going to change that. I think maybe it's just time to cut your losses and move on. I know there's been teams rumored interested, and I think, if you're the Steelers, at least you have that now and say, hey, he is coming back. Who wants him for the second half of the year? If I'm the Steelers, I'm getting rid of him.
I would tend to agree, but it's Le'Veon Bell. That's going to be your kicker.
I think maybe
your offense has honestly been struggling.
So maybe it depends. I mean, obviously it comes back week 7. The trade deadline is week 8. Are the Steelers in the playoff race at this point? I mean, I think the Steelers are going to be in it, but they're 1-2-1 right now. They're a game and a half, 2 games
and this
behind.
is also huge for them because they get to play these next 2 weeks and then be like, all right, we're going into bye week and we're 1-4 or I guess it would be 1-5-1. No, it'd be 1-4-1 going into week 7. Yeah. Okay, are you going to realistically win all of your last games? I mean, the best record you could have would be what? 10-5-1. So, I mean, that's obviously good, but you'd have to go 9-0.
Right.
And I don't see it.
Yeah, I mean, if they're not in it, there's no reason
they have to win their next 2 games.
Yeah,
if they win the next 2 games and they're 3-2-1 going into their bye week, then yes, Le'Veon Bell's going to play for them. If they lose one of these next 2, then he's got a much better chance to be traded because then they're like, you know what, screw it. We can save ourselves the money. We can get what we want.
Right.
And, my Eagles are actually interested in this guy, and that's kind of huge.
That'd be rowdy. But, all right, that's it for NFL talk. Pats and Colts play Thursday night. I don't want to pick this game yet because we're going to start something new here. We're going to do 3 picks, 1 lock, and 1 upset. And the way this is going to work, we picked 3 games for the upcoming weekend of games that we're both going to pick. We're going to see who gets the most right. We're also going to pick, and the other person doesn't know the game, we're going to pick 1 lock, 1 team that we guarantee is going to win, and we're going to pick 1 upset, 1 team that is
not
favored by Vegas odds, and that team that we think is going to win here. So the 3 games that we are both going to pick are Atlanta, Pittsburgh, Oakland, LA Chargers, and Baltimore at Cleveland. Now, the way this is going to work, from now on, the 3 picks that we both pick are going to be worth 1 point. Our lock is going to be worth 2 points, and the upset is going to be worth 3 points. So we're going to start keeping track of this.
I think the lock needs to be a negative point, though, if you get it wrong, because that is supposed to be your lock.
Actually, that's really good. Yeah, 2 points to get it right. You lose a point if you get it wrong. We'll make sure we put this.
We'll keep a tally, and we'll make sure we'll make sure at the end of every video to see where we're at on the standings.
Exactly.
To go over
we'll
last week's pick.
Right. We'll update you.
Those will be the first games we talk about whenever we do our NFL scores. That way we don't forget.
Right. Send us yours, too. Put them in the comments. Put them in the Facebook comments. Whatever we're sharing this on. Let's get your locks and your upsets and your picks on our games here. Obviously, you can probably pick better than me. I've already retired from my picks after 2 weeks. But see how you compare to us with our picks. But Atlanta, Pittsburgh. I have got the Falcons winning in Pittsburgh. Atlanta has not gotten off to a very good start, but neither have the Steelers. I think that they've got the firepower on offense, and that Steelers defense is very porous. I think Atlanta gets back in the win column, and the Steelers continue to struggle. Give me Atlanta.
I'm taking Atlanta too, but Pittsburgh has to win if they want Le'Veon Bell. I do think Antonio Brown has his best game of the year, and it's going to be close. It's going to be one of those.
Oh, absolutely.
It's going to be one of these 34-27, 28 games, or a 31-28 with a last-second field goal. It's going to be one of those type of games. Pittsburgh being at home, I almost want to take them, but I think Atlanta offensively has a little too much firepower for that defense. Pittsburgh without Le'Veon Bell is strictly passing. James Conner hasn't been running the ball too well, but he has been effective in the pass game. I see them being pretty much one-dimensional at this point, and Antonio Brown and Smith-Schuster just aren't enough to get it done without someone who's a threat out of the backfield.
Yeah. Pittsburgh's going to lose. Mike Tomlin on his way. Gone. By the end of the year. Gone.
Le'Veon Bell's also going to be gone this year, and that's both of our...
And then Big Ben possibly, and then Antonio Brown possibly. And
I think Big Ben's going to retire, and Antonio's going to be like, I need to get traded.
Right. Absolutely. Next game, Oakland at 1-3, LA Chargers at 2-2. Oakland is a joke. John Gruden is a joke. The Chargers are not nearly as good as people wanted them to be, expected them to be, but they're going to win this one at home easily. Give me the Chargers. Honestly, give me the Chargers by like 14.
I mean, I have to agree with the Chargers winning. Oakland can run the ball. Chargers, if they don't, I don't think they're going to have Bosa. I still think he's out. They still have Melvin Ingram. They've still got some decent defensive players. They're a little bit banged up throwing, but I don't know. Oakland's a better team than they're showing, and that's what sucks.
They have been competitive. They have had the lead. I mean, what was it through the first 3 games? They didn't trail in the first 3 quarters of any of the first 3 games, and they lost all 3 of them. I mean, it's not that they're bad. It's not that they're not in these games or they're not competitive, but they're losing them and they're finding ways to lose. Yeah. And I mean, obviously, as a Chiefs fan, that's very entertaining to me. But
this one's tough though because you have to pick the Chargers to win, and that's kind of like fuck. Yeah. Especially with the next 2 games coming up. As a Chiefs fan, Chargers can easily win their next 2. The Chiefs would own the tiebreaker, obviously, but the Chiefs could lose both of these games. So I don't see the Chiefs losing both. But I'm just saying they literally could go 0-2, and the Chargers could be tied essentially with the Chiefs at first place.
I mean, I don't know who the Broncos have their next 2 games, but they could very well.
I mean, it could be a 3-way tie in the next 2 weeks, and I mean, it sucks, but
I don't see it happening.
I don't either. But it could. And
we also didn't see the Cubs not winning the NL Central. And
right. So you never know. And I'm picking the Chargers. Obviously, I think again though, I think it's going to be a closer game than what we think. I think it's going to be. Yeah. I think it's going to be a 24-30 game. I think the Chargers win by 6,
I think
7.
Chargers win 34-20, 14
I mean, that could be. I mean, yeah.
We'll see.
Never know.
But,
we'll see what happens.
Baltimore, Cleveland. You pick this one first. Who you got in this one?
I'm taking Cleveland.
God damn it. I was hoping we were going to have at least one.
We didn't. One wrong.
All right, so...
but, I mean, Baltimore's a better team, but Cleveland
should have beat Oakland.
Cleveland's looked a lot better with Mayfield in there.
Yeah,
They've got just enough weapons on offense that it's scary, and their defense gets turnovers.
Right.
And Flacco is good, but he finds ways to turn the ball over sometimes. And Baltimore's defense is crazy. This is going to be Cleveland's toughest game, I think, so far this year, personally.
Cleveland's got some firepower on that offense.
But Cleveland's got firepower.
Jarvis Landry. Not Kittle, Jesus.
David Njoku.
I knew they had a solid tight end.
And then you've got Duke Johnson catching the ball. I mean, you've got Landry, but they've got Callaway,
and
too.
They've got Myles Garrett. They've got Jabril Peppers. I mean, they've got guys. They've got guys on defense,
Denzel Ward's been their best player, and he's a rookie.
Right. I mean, Cleveland, and like I said, you say what you want about Oakland having, found ways to lose. Oakland should have lost this game. This was the one they really should have lost rather than should have won. And Cleveland, unfortunately, doesn't get the win. And I don't know. Cleveland's at home again, divisional opponent, and Joe Flacco is known for he'll have a couple good games, but Joe Flacco also has really, really bad games, and I just don't see the Ravens being consistent. I don't see the Ravens being good, and they're 3-1, aren't they? I put their record wrong on our notes, but they are 3-1. But I have the Browns in an upset at home, and that's that for our 3. So we agree with our 3 picks. Those are worth 1 point.
Which is kind of crazy because I didn't necessarily expect that when we were picking the games.
I really thought you were going to pick Baltimore, and
I really thought you were taking Pittsburgh, to be 100% honest with you. But hey, it's all good.
I mean, we didn't discuss these picks before the game. Obviously, we knew the picks the games you were going to pick, but we didn't discuss who we had. Now for these 2. We don't know the games that the other person's picking. So, do you want to go first or do you want me to go first? Let's go with the lock.
All right,
who was your lock of the week?
I mean, my lock's kind of obvious just based on the schedule. I'm taking New England as my lock to beat the Colts. They're at home. It's a short week, and they're playing the Colts. So, sorry, Rodney. Tom Brady's going to throw 4 touchdowns to him to Gronk this week.
Yeah. I mean,
I've got to take the Patriots. They're at home, short week, and it's the Patriots.
Thursday night at Gillette, prime time, yeah.
That's got to be
They already got back on track last week. They had a nice game against the Dolphins. They're starting to build some momentum again. They're 2-2.
That's my lock.
Yeah, they're going to get up to 3-2, and then they're going to go on their run, and they'll end up 12-4. 12-4, 11-5. Yeah, something like that. I don't see them going any worse than 10-6. So that says they go at worst 8-4 over the rest of the year to get to 10-6. So yeah, Patriots win that one. That is not my lock of the week, however, though. My lock of the week, I'm going to go with the Saints at home on Monday night over the Redskins. Saints are 3-1. Their offense has looked great this year. They've got Drew Brees, who is ageless. He's just like Tom Brady, just like Big Ben. He'll never stop playing well, evidently. The Saints at home in the Superdome, that's always a tough place to play, especially on primetime. The Redskins have Alex Smith, but like I've always said, I think the Redskins coaching staff is not good. I don't like Jay Gruden.
It's a Gruden.
Yeah, right. For real, I forgot there's 2 Grudens in the league now. Alex Smith doesn't have a whole lot of playmakers around him. Of course, as soon as I said Adrian Peterson's washed up, he went and had another good game last week. He'll probably have a little bit of motivation with...
He'll have a good week. The Saints' run defense isn't that great.
Right, that's true. The Redskins might put up some points, but I just think with the Saints' offense... Saints' defense was really, really good last year, and they struggled this year. But Alex Smith is a quarterback with a high floor but a low ceiling. I think this is a game that the Saints can really take control of. And even if it's close, I think the Saints definitely win it.
I agree.
All right, so for your upset, who do you have for your upset of the week?
My upset is there is not going to be a winless team in the NFL. I'm picking the Arizona Cardinals to beat San Francisco. Because San Francisco has no quarterback. I don't think the Cardinals have that great of a quarterback, but I think Rosen's enough. I think David Johnson's going to be an animal this game. This is going to be his one game, I think, this year that he is 200 yards from scrimmage. But they're technically the underdog. I'm taking them.
All right, well, that was actually going to be mine as well.
I had a feeling
that was going to be mine as well, but I think, scrolling through these scores real fast, I think my upset, and...
It's going to be the Bills.
It's going to be the Dolphins over the Bengals. Now, I know the Dolphins are 3-1, as are the Bengals, but the Bengals are at home. I think they're a better team. The Dolphins are coming off a blowout, and the Bengals are favored by 6.5 points at home. The Dolphins have looked pretty good this year, with the exception of last week against the Patriots, but I think the Patriots just have such a big brother syndrome over all the other teams. I mean, you could be 9-0 and the Patriots could be 4-5, and it's the Patriots, and they're just they just know how to beat the teams in that division, and I think it's a mental thing with other teams in that division because of it. They just don't beat the Patriots. The Bengals are the Bengals. They're coached by Marvin Lewis inexplicably still. I don't know how he still has his job, but Andy Dalton has good and bad days. He's a quarterback who will go out there and just shit a brick. And give me the Dolphins in Cincy to go to 4-1 and keep the division lead for at least another week.
If we had a second lock, what's your second lock?
I mean, my second lock would probably be the Patriots. I mean, that should be my first lock, but I just wanted to take a different one.
Yeah.
I mean, Rams over Seahawks, I feel pretty comfortable about. Rams getting 7 points on the road. How about that?
That's pretty good.
I mean, yeah, Seahawks, I don't think.
If I had a lock, I'm picking the Eagles.
Eagles over the
Vikings.
Yeah.
Lost to 2 bad teams. Okay, I take that back. The Rams are a really good team, but they tied the Packers, and the Packers have not looked good. The Eagles come off a loss, but they're going home.
Yeah.
With a healthy lineup for once. So I have a feeling this might be the Eagles' first 40-point game of the season.
Yeah. Well, there you have it. I'll make sure we write these down, and next week on Wednesday, when next week's video comes out, we will see who has the most points and who's got a hot start.
Do we got a wager on this, or are we just doing it for fun?
I don't know.
We can have
maybe
a small little wager on this.
Put it in the comments. What should the bet be? Let's have a bet. Loser has a punishment.
Nothing stupid. I'm not getting a tattoo of Patrick Mahomes on my ass. I'm not doing any of that
I'll do that
shit.
either way.
I'll
get the Mahomes tattoo.
He probably will.
I'll throw my picks for a Mahomes tattoo.
I'm not doing something crazy. Make it something fun and small. Nothing huge. Like.
Yeah.
He has to go to the Eagles-Chiefs game in a few years in KC and wear the Eagles jersey, or I have to wear the Chiefs. Just something fun
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, throw in some ideas for a punishment for the loser in the contest, and like I said, throw us your picks as well. Give us those 3 games, give us your upset, and give us your lock. And
if you have better picks than us, you can come join us.
Hell yeah, we got an extra spot on the other side of that bench. You can't see it, but I've got about 18 other chairs in this room ready for some more people in here. We definitely want to get some more people in here soon. We want to get some debate going. Honestly, I'm shocked that we've agreed on as much as we have. I mean, it's just good talk. It's good shit, and I don't know, but it's been fun, and we've been gaining more viewers every week. So like I said, if you're watching this, thank you so much. If you're watching this, please share it with your friends. Like this video. We're just having some fun doing this shit, and like I said, if you want to get on this show, hit us up, and we can zoom the camera out and get a whole panel of 7 people in here talking some sports.
Yeah, I'm pretty dope.
Thanks so much, you guys. Have a great day. Happy Wednesday. We'll see
find
you
me
next
on
week.
Twitter. Find me on Facebook.
Oh, yeah,
find me
shit.
on Instagram, Snapchat. All of it is Baseball Devin.
KCR Belsky.
DEVEN. Please spell my name right. You won't find me otherwise.
KCR Belsky. Later. I missed it.
You can pause it though, right?
Oh
when
yeah,
I
I'll
hit
do it right there.